Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about it. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the work week. And this is a great day to start off your work week because if you're watching this video, we do have 3 contests coming to you guys live. 2 ALDS games as well as the Monday Night Football game that we'll have on as well. But this is where we're going to talk about the Detroit Tigers and the Cleveland Guardians to go along with the Kansas City Royals and Yankees matchup. That'll be a little bit later in the evening, 4 o'clock and 7:30 respectively for Eastern Standard Time. That's when we'll have first pitch for those 2 matchups. Okay, but let's get into it, and we are going to swing the bat today. We are going to go for some home runs because I do like a lot of value in today's card. It's been one where we've been pretty having some luck late in the games in these postseason matchups. Where we look at the Phillies game yesterday, as well as kind of what we've had going on with the Mets. Conversely, with them. Walking it off, and it's been kind of that story within those 2 ball clubs. Is we've seen a lot of walk-off fashion kind of endings in those games, and now that series is tied up 1-1. So fantastic stuff as we get deeper into the playoffs. Okay, so let's get into it. If you are new to the channel, that's completely fine. It's awesome. Make sure you subscribe right down below. All you gotta do is click the button. It's totally free. Also, if you want to become a channel member and join us here, there is a link down below for that. If you want to give back to the channel, links in the description. So appreciate you guys. Let's talk about it. Let's get into the outlier as we look into kind of the plays here and what's going on in these 2 matchups. You can see at the top of this odds board, right? We see the Tigers coming in as a $1.30 favorite. Skewball, we got Skewball going against Matthew Boyd, all right? And we can go back into August, and that's going to be the first time that we saw Skewball as the Detroit Tigers won 8-2 in that matchup. Skewball had 6 Ks, giving up 1 run, albeit there was 10 hits in that matchup, okay? And that's kind of going to be what's going to lead me to this conversation, because I just think that right now, I think the money and the love is a little bit in a hangover perspective for the Detroit Tigers, okay? So we do get a nice little lefty-on-lefty matchup in this game too. Do not discredit Matthew Boyd. Yes, it's something where I think he's going to be fired up. This is kind of an interesting spot too, because when you get these kind of divisional foes meeting in the playoffs, there's a lot of familiarity, okay? There's a lot of familiarity. They play each other pretty extensively. And the kind of weird thing about this all was, if you look back at Skewball in kind of this regular season, he's only had 1 outing against the Cleveland Guardians. And, this is kind of surprising to me, because it feels like when the Tigers used to play with those old lineups, growing up an Indians fan, we had, crazy stuff. You had Scherzer, you had Verlander, and even some, I forget the other guy, which is blanking my memory, so forgive me. Cheers for more coffee. But, and he was actually kind of the higher paid guy that came out of the Detroit rotation. But it felt like you face those guys every single day that they met in regular season. So I know that Matthew Boyd's kind of excluded from that, but I think with Skewball and kind of the amount of starts he's made and his kind of reign for Cy Young, this is where you think that he'd have a little bit more appearances against the Indians. If you guys remember that third pitcher, let me know down below in the comments too. It's kind of bugged me here for a little baseball trivia. But this is kind of where we go into the matchup here. I can't get away from it. You can call me a homer. I don't really care. But we are going to take the Cleveland Guardians plus 1.5. Couple that with the under 6.5 runs. That is a little same game parlay that we'll do a half unit on. That will pay a plus 151 price. Like I said, we're going for home runs. Gives us a 1-run cushion. I think it will be lower scoring. I think if we get out of here with a 4-3 ball game at worst, I think that's something where we're going to be equipped to cash that ticket. So I like that bet. And also I am going to be taking the under 6 straight up. Minus 110 under. If you can find that 6.5, get the hook. FanDuel was just offering it the last time I checked, so we will take the under 6.5 between Skewball and Boyd. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough for the Indians to play a few runs, but I think that he's not going to go 9 innings. I think that we're going to get deep into the game, and Cleveland's going to have a shot late, and I think Boyd's going to keep that gap close enough where I do like that run line. I'm not laying $1.70, but we are going to take that in that little half unit same game parlay, as well as to go along with the under, which is my best bet. Also in the prop markets, if you want to get a little frisky, I do like like taking cue balls, strikeouts up, and you can also go into the Stephen Kwan. I don't really like the matchup lefty on lefty. I think Naylor personally is going to have a horrible game today. If you guys are Josh Naylor fans, great. I'm kind of a glass half full on him. I can do with or without him, but I always kind of seemingly talk some smack about him, and then he ends up getting a clutch hit. So couple that with how he's had an outstanding season this year. Tip of the cap to the tribe, my team, but I'll admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong with my preseason handicap. Not a believer in a first-year manager in their pitching rotation and their payroll just led me to a very, very kind of probably the most surprising team in quite some time within the major league ranks, I think, with where they're at, getting that first round bye here. So that's kind of where I'm going to be headed. I told you the skew ball strikeouts, but that could be a little bit inflated. If you want to look Tigers first 5, go for it. Also, I'm not opposed to nrfi in this game. It's going to be juiced up a lot. But yeah, I don't see a lot of runs. I think that skew ball is ready to roll. And I just don't really feel like the Tigers are going to hit the ball as well. They were a little bit nervy in that game 1. That was very evident. And now they have to come back to Cleveland. It's something where you want to track the wind here, because if it is blowing out, we do see a very potential for a long ball. It's kind of one of those stadiums where the ball flies out more times than not, especially with what they've done with the renovations in right field. So for those of you that are not familiar. But anyways, that's my analysis and breakdown of that. And if you guys want some insights to go along with that, we'll talk about kind of the team stuff going on within this game. And that's where we could look into the fact that we look at the Tigers in their last 28 games. This is a great little kind of thought process if you guys are on the Tigers. I just can't do it. And this isn't an emotional pick either. I just think that there's too much value getting the Indians plus 110 at home. But we do look at the under, hitting 13 out of their last 15 games at home. That's why we're on the under, not just because of the trend. That's my handicap, and the trends back it up. Okay, I don't make bets based off trends. I use trends to kind of cross my T and dot my I before I sign that check. Okay. But we do see the fact that the Tigers, this is impressive, guys. 28 of their last games, 22-6. Okay, so almost 80% that the Tigers are winning as a favorite on the road. So that's something where it's just absolutely insane in terms of that metric. 80% basically against the spread too as well on the road. So that 1.5 for Detroit plus 150. They've cashed at their last 8 out of 10 games on the road. So very interesting numbers and handicaps to lead into this game. For me, guys, it's just best bet is on the under 6.5, and I am going to do a little bit of that parlay, kind of jazz things up and try to find some plus 150 value. And now to get more plus 150 value, we are going to look into this Kansas City game within New York. I am not a Rodon guy. Okay, full disclosure, not a Rodon guy. 16-9 on the season, 3.96 ERA. Looks all good in paper. It's going to get him signed, but the problem is this is where you look into New York and playing at home. I've been on the wrong side of that argument, and I do like those people out there that are taking Kansas City World Series futures. It's a great story, but this is something where I got to say not so fast. Kansas City has only won 26% of their games as a underdog on the money line, and I do look for this as being a higher scoring game. I think that we do get a little bit of the public money on the over, but it could be a little trendy under. Who knows? I'm going to stay away from that. I like this game in terms of one bet and one bet in specific, and this is something within these playoff games, guys. You've seen it with the Mets. Do not be scared just to throw the handicaps out the window, okay? If you like the Kansas City Royals, you think they're going to win this game, they're going to tie this game, take them on the run line. You take them on the run line, you get a incredible number, okay? It's Kansas City basically reverse run line. But I do think this is where we see a more sharper play towards the under as well in this spot. So the under 7.5, you can probably find an 8 out there for some insurance at a juiced up price. But I think this is where I would lend towards the under. The under is hit in 9 out of their last 10 games as an underdog. Kansas City is not a good underdog. And this is where you look at the Yankees. They're also kind of conversely not covering the run line at home. Okay. But for all intents and purposes, you can find a very good split. And this is kind of one of those games where I'm not opposed to doing this as well. If you take Kansas City on the run line, you take New York on the run line, you do get some plus money arbitrage. So as long as a game is a winner by 2 runs, you are going to cash that ticket and profit some money more times than not. Kind of bank on a Kansas City win. I don't really do that too frequently, and they don't make the numbers like that. But if you do shop around, you will be able to find a very strong arbitrage opportunity doing that. You could take Kansas City from one book that's offering a huge number, and New York from another book, and then you will make up that middle. As long as the game's not decided by 1 run, you're going to be okay. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's by taking kind of a hedge against Kansas City reverse run line. For me, that's a home run play. I think that's an option where you saw Kansas City get out to an early lead last week. And for me, this is kind of where, maybe the bats falter, maybe Rodon has a bad start, maybe Kansas City needs to play a little bit more desperate so they don't go down 0-2. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I am going to take a little stab at that, and I think that's something where, people might think I'm crazy, but I am going to take a Kansas City reverse run line -1.5. So keep it in the AL Central. This will be a half-unit play. Quite frankly, it's just something where it's going to be a little home run play, and I do like the under 7.5 as well. But for me, this is kind of where we're going to ride into Monday night, and we're going to look at that reverse run line, okay? And this is kind of where I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, whereas we go into alternate run lines, and you can find Kansas City right here at a +219 price on DraftKings. So that'll be my best bet in this game. It's kind of a little bit, out of the ordinary, but we're only going to have to risk a half unit to win more than 1 unit in that bet. So I like it. I like the Cleveland bets. Those will be my plays within Major League Baseball for tonight. So go AL Central, rooting for you guys, and enjoy this evening where we do have Monday Night Football and 2 baseball games to go along with it. So these are my final plays. Like I said, Kansas City reverse run line -1.5 at a +219 price. Cleveland under 6.5. And if you do have any boosts, take advantage of those boosts as always, right? That's a smart thing to do. It's common sense, and use them on heavy plus money prices, such as a 219 dog out there in the market. So that's where I'm at. Those will be my best bets. I do like the under as well in the New York game, but with that short porch, I'm not confident enough to lock it in as a best bet. So Cole Reagans and Matthew Boyd, let's rep the AL Central. Let's cash these tickets, and hopefully we get out here with some units and some profitability here on this Monday. Good luck with your picks. Make sure you guys all subscribe down below. Hop on over to the Discord today. We'll be talking it up over there, as well as, guys, if you want to become a channel member, join us now at TBM. The link's down below. And appreciate you guys watching. Cheers.